So remember when J. Cole said,
I want a real love. That Jada is that real love.
well, that line has kind of aged like milk, cause that Jada and Will kind of love is exactly the kind of love that nobody wants. Respectfully, keep that kind of love far away from me, cause I'm not claiming that energy, no. Welcome back, baddies. So Will and Jada have been in the public eye in recent times because of the whole mess that happened at the Oscars, as well as the leaked letter that Willow Smith wrote to Tupac. And I know that y'all have been wondering what kind of parents Will and Jada have been to their kids, Willow and Jaden. Well, today I'm gonna be spilling all the tea about Willow and Jaden's upbringing, and just a little bit of heads up, this is kind of disturbing and things are going to get messy. So get your teacups ready, cause y'all know that nobody spills the tea like me. So where do I begin? Well, how about the time that Jaden asked to be emancipated at 15? Yes, 15. Now, for those of you who don't know, emancipation basically means that he wanted to be declared an adult. You know, kind of like he was divorcing his parents. The crazy thing is that he wanted to be an adult at age 15. I don't know about you guys, but most adults I know are fighting to go back to being kids. I mean, adulting can be pretty ghetto. But if you think that that's crazy, well, welcome to the life of the Smiths, because it gets even crazier. His parents were not exactly against the emancipation, even though Jada expressed some concern. At this time, Jaden's desire for freedom caused speculation among fans that he was feeling choked by his parents and that he wanted to live his life on his own terms. This speculation was also fueled by old rumors about Will and Jada forcing their children into careers that they wanted no part in, but we'll get into this in a bit. For now, let's focus on Jaden's desire for emancipation. Well, he didn't go through with it and he continued to live as a minor, but this caused fans to wonder what exactly Jaden was going through with his parents that made him decide that he didn't want to be under them anymore. I mean, it's not every day that a 15-year-old wakes up and demands his freedom. Fans speculated that Will and Jada were not exactly the best of parents, and a fan said, after the past year, I fully understand why Jaden Smith asked to be emancipated at 15. And someone else tweeted, I think that's what they get for dragging all their kids into showbiz. It rarely turns out good. Yeah, that's kind of messed up, but do you guys want to know what else is messed up? The fact that Will and Jada treated Willow differently from Jaden because she was a girl. And no, this is not just some random speculation by fans, because Willow herself brought this up on an episode of Red Table Talk.
Also want to bring up, there is a difference between how black moms will treat their daughters and their sons.
Y'all, the family stays exposing their dirty secrets on that show. I also find it kind of ironic how Jada likes to present herself as a feminist icon, but she was raising Willow differently just because she's a girl. And the fact that she didn't deny the allegation just speaks volumes. But like every parent knows that you have to be as fair as you can with your kids, because of favoritism leads to an unhealthy rivalry between the kids. But it looks like Jada missed that memo. If you think that things couldn't possibly get any worse, well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, because it somehow does get worse. You see, on an episode of the Red Table Talk, Willow opened up about how Will and Jada pushed her into business way too early. We all know that Willow and Jada never really struggled to be in the spotlight because they were born into it. But according to Willow, she wished that her parents never forced her to go into music so early.
I definitely had to forgive you and Daddy, you know, for that whole with my hair thing. It was mostly Daddy, because he was so like harsh at certain times. Trying to regain trust for not feeling like I wasn't listened to or no one cared what I felt during that time.
But the crazy thing is that Willow was only 9 years old when she sang Whip My Hair Back and Forth, so she had a lot of time to become the superstar that Will and Jada wanted her to be. But can you imagine how insane it is to force a 9-year-old child to start a career? I mean, it's not like their family was broke or anything. Willow also opened up about how she had something of an identity crisis after the success of Whip My Hair Back and Forth.
Kind of like just in this gray area of like, who am I? Like, is there, like, do I have a purpose? Like, is there anything like that I can do besides this?
But the crazy thing is that Jaden felt the same way too after the release of The Karate Kid, which he started when he was only 11 years old. So Willow wasn't the only one who felt pressured by Will and Jada to make something of himself at a very young age. By forcing their kids into careers that they didn't want, Will and Jada pretty much stole their childhoods, and that's just all shades of wrong, because nobody deserves to grow up without having a childhood. Now, after Willow released With My Hair Back and Forth, she signed a deal to go on tour with Justin Bieber for a month, even though she didn't want to. Will forced her, and in protest, she shaved her head. Can you imagine the level of frustration that a little girl would have to face before she decides to shave off her head? Willow also revealed in several interviews that she couldn't handle the fame that came after she started making music. This led to extra pressure from her parents, and eventually she started engaging in self-harming behaviors to help her cope. And I'm not gonna talk about what she was doing. It's on the internet, so you can look it up if you want to. I just find it ridiculous that Will and Jada have always made a show of being the best parents ever. I mean, they're all about how their main focus is parenting their kids and how they listen to their kids and how they allow their kids to be with whoever and whatever they want to be without any pressure from them. But this is all turning out to be a lie, because behind the scenes they were putting insane amounts of pressures on their kids to start making lots of money before they even became teenagers. And this is just pretty wrong on very many levels. Will and Jada have admitted on multiple occasions that they don't believe in discipline and they don't discipline their kids. In a 2013 interview, Will said, "We don't do punishment. The way that we deal with our kids is they are responsible for their lives. Our concept is, as young as possible, give them as much control over their lives as possible. So when they do things, you can do anything you want as long as you can explain to me that that was the right thing to do for your life." This would have seemed like a smart parenting hack, but the thing is, Willow was just 13 and Jaden was 15 at the time. And according to Will, this is how they were raised. This parenting hack is just pretty crazy because it assumes that kids are smart enough to be in control of their lives. I mean, kids will always be kids and they will do dumb things and make dumb decisions. That's why it's a parent's job to guide them and help them make the right decisions. Also, can we talk about the fact that he said he gives his kids control over their lives when he pretty much forced them into careers that they didn't want? Honestly, with parents like this, it's a miracle that Willow and Jaden turned out to be decent human beings, we think. Now let's talk about the fact that Jada had an affair with Jaden's friend August Alsina. Well, not an affair per se, because she and Will had an open marriage. So it's not like she cheated on Will, but the thing is, August is or was Jaden's friend, and that's all shades of messed up. Seriously, some people should just be out of bounds and your kids' friends should be one of them. Did she even think about how Jaden would feel before she started doing the nasty with his friend? I'm not saying that Jada is a bad mother or anything like that, but seriously, of all the men in Hollywood, it had to be her son's friend. I mean, I know that the family is weird as F, but this just took things to a whole different level. Oh, and don't get me started on the letter that Willow tried to write to Tupac when she was just 11 years old. Fans have been dragging Jada after Willow's letter to Tupac leaked. Like I said, Willow allegedly wrote the letter to Tupac when she was just 11 years old and she was begging Pac to come and get her mom. She wrote, "Dear Tupac, I know you're alive someplace and I think my mommy really misses you. Can you please come back? Can you come back so my mommy and me can be happy? I wish you were here, I really do, Willow." Fans are wondering why and how Jada filled Willow's head with so many stories of Tupac that an 11-year-old girl wrote a letter to Pac to make her mom happy. Fans think that this is super messed up, with the fan tweeting, "That Willow Smith letter to Tupac is some crazy stuff. Will Smith being abused at this point." And another fan said, "Why Willow Smith writing a letter to Tupac? She ain't even know that man." To be fair, I kind of think that Tupac was Jada's BFF, that she just missed him and all that stuff. But I also don't think that it's right for her to have filled Willow's head with so many stories about how she missed Tupac that Willow felt that Jada was unhappy. It's just extra messed up, and like I said earlier, it's nothing short of a miracle that Jaden and Willow turned out okay, because honestly, I don't think their parents deserve much praise of how their kids turned out to be. But if you think that this entire thing was messy, just wait until you check out this next video.